Jai Ho students, welcome back to SKS CBSE's DG Vidya class session. In previous class we have discussed geometrical meaning of zeros of a polynomial. In this first part we have discussed, that is geometrical meaning of zeros of linear polynomial. And today now we have to discuss quadratic polynomial. Geometrical meaning of zeros of what type of polynomial? Quadratic polynomial. As we have discussed in the previous class, that is how many times the graph intersect x-axis, those many the graph, that is the polynomial has zeros. Clear? As we have seen in linear polynomial, the graph of the linear polynomial is always straight line, and that straight line, if it intersect x-axis, then we can say the linear polynomial has 1 0. As we have discussed, linear polynomial has at most 1 0. And here we have to see that quadratic polynomial. And also we have discussed in the previous class that how many zeros a quadratic polynomial has at most. So quadratic polynomial has at most 2 zeros, and the graph which is obtained by constructing quadratic polynomial is always a parabola. Clear? So what is the meaning of this? That is geometrical meaning of zeros of quadratic polynomial. Look at here. For quadratic polynomial, which is that quadratic polynomial general form, that is ax square plus bx plus c. This is a quadratic polynomial, and a should not be equals to 0. A should not be equal to 0. For a quadratic polynomial, ax square plus bx plus c, that is a should not be equals to 0. A is not equals to 0. The graph y is equals to ax square plus bx plus c. That is the graph of y equal to ax square plus bx plus c is a parabola. That is, in previous class we have seen what shape a parabola has. So this is open upward parabola, and another one open downward parabola. Clear? The graph of quadratic polynomial is always a parabola. Yes? Okay. So this is a parabola which intersects, this parabola intersects x-axis at exactly 2 points. How many points? 2 points. That's why a quadratic polynomial has at most 2 zeros. Clear? So one simple diagram, as we have seen in linear polynomial, same we can construct we need to construct the graph for quadratic polynomial. This is y-axis and this is x-axis. X dash, x-axis, y dash axis. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, again goes to 1, 2, 3, 4. Again minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. Again minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. Clear? So graph of this, that is y equal to ax square plus bx plus c is, what type of graph we obtain? That is parabola. So suppose the graph is like this, which intersect x-axis at 2 points. So this is the graph of y, that is y is equals to ax square plus bx plus c. If we get the graph of this quadratic polynomial is what shape? Parabola. Here, look at here, if in linear polynomial graph has intersect x-axis at only one point, that's why it has only one zero. Here in this graph we can see that the graph intersects x-axis how many times? 2 times. That to which points? One is at minus 3 and another one is at 2. So how many zeros it has? This graph has at most 2 zeros. Which are the 2 zeros? Minus 3 plus 2. Clear? So these are the 2 zeros where we can find for the quadratic polynomial. Therefore lastly we can write. So as I have taken one more example here, that is the graph what we obtain for one of the quadratic polynomial that do not intersect x-axis. The graph, this is also parabola. The graph do not intersect x-axis. Then how many zeros this has? This has no zeros. One more diagram I will draw. This is the graph of one quadratic polynomial that will not intersect x-axis. This has how many zeros? No zeros. One more diagram we can draw. This is the graph of one quadratic polynomial, that is that the graph intersects x-axis at only one point. Here the graph intersects x-axis only. You are not supposed to consider y-axis. You are not supposed to see y-axis. Only x-axis we need to consider. How many times the graph intersects x-axis? One time. So this has how many zeros? 1 zero. This does not intersect x-axis. This has no zeros. This do not intersect x-axis. This has no zeros. This graph intersects x-axis at 2 points. This has how many zeros? 2 zeros. So lastly we can conclude that the quadratic polynomial has at most 2 zeros. So last we can conclude. So if the graph intersects, suppose one more diagram, I will give one more diagram. You can see in this diagram, in this graph, the graph intersects x-axis at how many times? How many times this intersects? 1, 2, 3. Then this has how many zeros? 3 zeros. How many zeros this graph has? 3 zeros. So this is cubic polynomial. So that we will discuss in the higher classes. So till quadratic polynomial you need to study this in standard. Suppose if the graph intersect one more time, if it intersect again we can see here. Then how many times this graph intersect x-axis? 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this has how many zeros? 4 zeros. Clear? How many times a graph intersect only x-axis? Then we can say those many zeros the given polynomial has. So here we will conclude that linear polynomial has at most 1 0, quadratic polynomial has at most 2 zeros. Here, understood? Next, in the next class, we will study the relationship between zeros of a polynomial and coefficients of the given polynomial. So till then, take care. Jai Hind.